I'm Lily England and this is my AS Evaluation for my Media Foundation portfolio. I chose to do my portfolio based on the genre of pop, as my primary research revealed that this is the most popular genre for young people aged 15 to 24 years old, who are in my target audience. I not only let my target audience choose my genre, I also use my audience feedback to dictate my audience demographic and other media language choices. In terms of my audience demographic, I found out that my primary target audience was primarily straight British females aged 15 to 24 years old in social grades B to E, who like mainstream pop music and some indie music. I also found out that my secondary target audience would be some males, older readers and readers of different sexual orientations. Regarding my media language, I found out that my audience liked the name Loud for the magazine and wanted a style and colour palette that reflected their age. In other words, even though they liked pop music, they did not want a pop magazine that followed pop music genre conventions, as this style was too immature and did not represent their needs. My colour palette consists of muted pastels, oranges and purple, along with black and white. I decided on my colour palette because this was what my target audience suggested would work best for their needs. I made sure the mise-en-scene in my photo shoots also matched my colour palette plans, as I wanted a lot of the colour on my products to come from the clothes worn by the star vehicles in the images. I think my colour palette is effective because the pastel aspect gives the magazine a feminine feel that is right for the primary target audience, while also connoting a grungy feel that shows the magazine is for older teens / young adults, as opposed to younger teens who would like bold colours of the magazines like Top of the Pops. My colour palette and lighting choices would not alienate males though, which represents the needs of my secondary target audience. Overall, I think my colour palette choices represent my youth target audience through fitting the stereotypes of youth as trouble and youth as fun. The Osgoby and Hebdige claim are present in my many media texts, as the orange connotes fun, entertaining, while the black and purple connote rebellion and trouble. This breaks the conventions of pop magazines, as most magazines in the genre like Top of the Pops and We Love Pop use bright colours that only really connote youth as fun, which would alienate my older target audience. My layout choices also challenge the conventions of a normal pop magazine, as I have intentionally made them look more creative and sophisticated to represent the needs of my cooler target audience. On my front cover, I broke pop music magazine conventions, as I did not use a messy layout with lots of images, text boxes and text. Instead, I followed the layout that links more closely with the fashion genre, as it mirrors my text layout on high-end magazines like Vogue and Elle, to give my layout a stylish, sophisticated feel that older female youths would be drawn to. My layout consists of one main image, a masthead that covers 1/8 of the page, and text positioned neatly either side of the main image. My masthead and teaser typography also shares some similarities with the conventions of high-end fashion magazines like Vogue and Elle, as I have used modern, feminine, sophisticated serif fonts that represent and attract my target audience. I feel that serif font is a more female-orientated font with its ticks and flicks, which is what makes it perfect for my magazine that is aimed at mainly women. This challenges the conventions of normal pop magazines, as the typography choices you see on Top of the Pops and We Love Pop are bold, immature and not very sophisticated. What shows my magazine is a music magazine as opposed to a fashion magazine is my colour palette and mise-en-scène. The black background and pose of my model almost imitate rock or indie conventions, and this connotes the music genre to my audience. On my contents page, I've used one main image and one column of text. This breaks conventions, as most pop genre contents pages usually feature 2 to 5 images and lots of columns and text boxes to make the pages look messy and exciting for young readers. I decided to only feature one main image and one text column on my contents page, as this fitted with the hip-hop and some indie music magazine conventions that worked for readers the same age as my target audience. I broke pop music magazine conventions on my double-page spread by using small fonts for the main article and by using an ordered layout more common in indie, rock and fashion magazines. I think my layout and main image to the left of the title and text to the right represents the needs of my female audience, as it gives them a creative image to relate to and detailed article which will appeal to older female youths in higher social grades, as stereotypically this group likes to read for entertainment. I followed a number of other conventions, like having the first letter of the article larger than the main body of the text, a quote and page numbers to make my work look professional. Overall, in terms of layout, I think I broke pop music magazine conventions, but learned and borrowed a lot from the conventions of fashion magazines like Vogue and music magazines like hip hop and indie, as these styles fit the age, class and interest of my target audience. I think this fits with Bentley's 1997 theory that creative process is the rearranging of the old to create the new. Because through borrowing ideas from different genres, I think I've created a pop magazine cover, contents page and double page spread that represents the needs of an older mainstream audience. I worked hard to make sure my images and lexis would also represent my target audience. My research showed me that my target audience was a mass audience of aspirers who are serious and seek status, explorers who are full of energy and seek discovery, and also reformers who are socially aware and seek enlightenment. I had to make sure my models, mise-en-scène and article content reflected this. I also had to think about the Blimmer and Katz 1974 uses and gratification theory inventions, as my audience would not have found this entertaining or informative, as it would have looked too immature. My lexis represents my target audience, as the teasers on the front, the text on the content and my article connote the magazine will have articles about topics more suitable for my more mature pop fans in higher social grades. The genre is still connoted though through the semantic fields I have used, as these relate to pop music bands and artists and my audience can identify with. To connote, the magazine will represent, entertain and inform young women. All the artists I have mentioned on my cover are female artists, who will appeal to different tastes in my audience. On the contents page, I do list some male artists to represent my secondary audience, as my primary target audience will also like male artists. The lexis of my main article uses sophisticated language. This breaks the convention of pop genre magazines, but represents my audience who are more mature, intelligent than your average pop reader. The writing style is closer to Vogue than it is to pop magazine, but the pop genre is connoted in the lexis and through the content matter, as my story is what theorist Gandalf would have called a rags to riches story. This would appeal to my target audience and entertain them, as they will be able to identify this theme and will want to believe that they could also become famous. My images break pop music conventions, as my styles are not dressed in over-the-top fashion. They are dressed in more indie styles to represent my older, more sophisticated audience. I enjoyed taking my images, as I had very comfortable cooperative models. They were able to pose and do exactly as I asked to help me get the perfect shots that look creative and relaxed, connoting the magazine will be a relaxing and entertaining read. My images follow fashion and indie conventions more than pop, but this works for my target audience. In terms of representation, none of my models are smiling too much. They look moody and serious. This fits Stanley Hall's 1904 theory that youths identify with depressed, rebellious stereotypes. My female model appears on the cover and double page spread, breaks Laura Mulvey's 1975 male gaze stereotype, as she is not dressed provocatively. This gives women in the target audience a strong, positive role model. However, as she is young and attractive, males may still buy the magazine because of the way she looks, which means my images do not completely break Mulvey's stereotype.